Fernanda Bohme, Bohme. It is like my favorite store. And not just because the owner is one of my closest friends and I love her so much, but really their clothes are so awesome. This is Fernanda Bohme. She started it. So she has the coolest story. Tell me a little bit about Bohme and about you and how things got started.
Well, for me to tell the story, we have to go back to my childhood.
Totally. Yes. They
Right.
need to know this part. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
right. It's so I'm originally from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And so my dad always wanted a degree from America. Apparently, it's a big deal to have a degree from America. And so we move up here. I'm 8, my sister's 9. We have a younger brother. And now we don't speak a lick of English. This is 1992, okay?
Wow.
So here we are. And it was an adjustment in every single way, right? You're here, you don't know the culture, you don't know the language, and now you have to go to school, now you have to adjust quickly, right? It was like a sink or swim situation for us.
And there were three siblings, right?
3 siblings. And so now my dad's going to full-time school. We're just going to school like normal kids, and what do we do to survive, right? Like, what do Brazilians do? They clean, right? And so we had to hustle. When I mean hustle, like, I had my own thing that we started where we lived in this White Mount Terrace is what it was called, in this community.
Because your dad was at BYU.
Right.
Wow.
So student housing.
Wow.
For you to take out the trash, you had to walk like 2 or 3 blocks to the nearest dumpster. So we figured this out to where if we go knock on the houses, they'll give us, quarter, 50 cents or whatever it was to take out their trash because, people had kids. It was inconvenient for you to walk. And some of these, are 3rd story. But anyways, so we even recruited employees, and that's how we got candy. Wow. Because for you to buy candy and snacks, like our parents
Which is the
weren't gonna do
currency
that.
of children, yeah.
Right, like that. Like everything we had to work for. So anyway, so now every day after school, we would never see our parents because they would go and clean buildings, right? But these weren't just normal, regular buildings. These were massive buildings, and so after school, the buildings were so massive that we would go with our parents. So it was every day after school around, you get off 3:30 or so, you get home, and then we would go clean the buildings until midnight every day. Wow. And it's not like...
Even on school nights?
Oh, every single day.
Wow.
It's not like back then, people didn't have computers at home. It's not like you can work from home. People were working in the offices, and they expected the offices cleaned every day. Yeah. And these were just 4 or 5-story buildings. They were massive, and we did a bunch of those at night. And back then, that was the reality. And my parents didn't really speak English. We spoke English sooner as children learn a lot quicker, right? And so we had to be the adults in the home overnight. So now we moved to this country where I was a child, and now I'm forced to be an adult. Right? We're translating everything. Like if there's a problem with the credit card or the rent bill, or if there's any problems, like we were there being the adult. We had to be the adult.
How quickly did you learn English?
Well, within 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I was an ESL student.
That's so amazing.
So this is funny. Can I put this in?
Yeah.
Before we move in here, to the U.S. We had this maid in Brazil, but everybody in Brazil has maids. Maids even have their own maids, It's funny. So she told my mom, she said, "Oh, you're going to go and live in America someday." She's like, "No, I'm not. You're crazy." "Oh, no, you're going to live in America. You're going to work like slaves for many, many years." And me and my sister, we were in diapers when she was telling this prophecy, right? But she says, one day, your two young daughters are going to be very successful entrepreneurs.
Wow, she said that?
She said that. Of course, my mom didn't believe her. She's like, "There's no way. This is crazy. Like, we're not going to leave our country." So anyways, fast forwarding. So now, we're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We did this for 10 years.
Cleaning the buildings.
Cleaning the buildings every single day. And there was no days off. Can I say there were no days off except for Christmas?
When my kids ever complain, I'm just going to share
every
this
single
story.
day. And it's not like, oh, we got to clean buildings and then afterwards we grabbed McDonald's. Oh, heavens no. That was not in the budget. Remember, they worked for minimum wage.
And he's a student.
And he's a student. He worked for minimum wage. We worked for free. Both my parents were at minimum wage. So now we're doing that for 10 years. And of course, you know, after he's done with, my dad eventually graduated from school with a PhD, but at the same time, it was minimum wage jobs after minimum wage jobs, and even had other day jobs that were, you know, close to minimum wage as well. And then clean the buildings at night for 10 years. And I learned something. I learned hard work comes with sacrifice.
Oh, and I know you so well. You cannot sit still. In fact, anytime we've ever, and it's a great thing, it's such a great quality, especially now when people just aren't wanting to work as much. But anytime we go out, even if it's like a double date or something, it's like, you guys are talking next business still. Okay, let's talk about this. Like, what about this? And what, you know, it's so cool though. It's refreshing and it's inspiring to see.
Now, my sister approaches me with this business idea, and at the time I was already graduating from a fashion program because I couldn't afford to go out of state. Like, that was just not the life where dad pays for college. It's like, no, I had to pay for my own college. I had to pay for my own school while working 2 jobs, you know, to just support myself. So then I end up going to Slick fashion program here in Utah, which
I've heard is actually really good.
the teachers are actually really, really good. I, you know, learned a wealth of information.
Slick is Salt Lake Community College.
Yes, sorry. So now, you know, it's no FITM, it's no FIT.
Yeah.
I get it, right? And so here I am, you know, stuck in Utah, which back then was no fashion capital by any means. And so
It was like Mervin's.
right. That's what we had. And so now I'm faced with this. Do I start this business or do I not? What do I do? I was working at a law firm at the time. And so, and I asked my sister, I said, we don't have connections. We do not have the money. Where are we going to start this? She's like, I don't know. Maybe we can get some kind of a business loan. So then this is 2007, right before the recession.
Oh.
Right before everything blew up. And guess what? I was able to get a credit card. I had good credit.
Yeah, because they were giving them out back then.
They were giving them out like candy.
Yeah.
So then I take an American Express credit card, and every month I would call in and raise the limit, you know, for a couple of months to get a little bit of revenue. And then that's when we started our first brick and mortar. Again, 2007, there was online, but people were not comfortable shopping online yet.
Yeah,
That was not
so
the thing.
new,
It was very
right.
much brick and mortar. And if you remember Utah, 2007, we have Dillard's, JCPenney, we have Mervin's. There was no fast fashion. We had 579, if that, you know. Okay, so we have these very, very basic retailers. And if you wanted to go shopping, like, you would go to California, you'd travel to New York to get your clothing.
Yeah.
That's how it was back then. So then when my sister approached me, I'm like, I guess so. Fine, I'll do it. And so now I'm in Skid Row. I find myself in Skid Row, downtown downtown LA, by myself.
Oh,
Walking to the
I've
fashion
been there.
district.
I
It's
would not-
sketchy.
I would not go
by
there by
myself. I
myself.
didn't know better. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
So
You were
I'm
driven.
there trying to get some inventory because remember, we couldn't design. We designed a few pieces. We couldn't design because you have to have minimums to design.
Yeah.
So we just private labeled it and just got it off somebody else's line. So now we open our first brick and mortar store.
And where did you open it at?
It was at Fashion Place.
Okay,
It was
Fashion
a
Place in Salt
3-month
Lake.
temp. So now
You better make
the
it in 3
graphic designer guy's like, hey, Bohme, that's a cool name. Bohme with the umlauts. You guys should use your last name. We're like, we don't know any better. Sure. So now it's all caps, black and white. Even our mannequins were like chrome, and it was like very showy clothing.
Yeah.
And we had designed a few pieces that was in front with like a keyhole with a mock neck. And we thought, you know what? We can even offer, you know, a couple of modest items. Back then, there was nothing else. Everything was short, spaghetti, mid drifts, and it was very Britney Spears, you know, era. And so when we opened it, guess who came and shopped with us? Our clients, the Playboy bunnies. They're like, this is a cool concept. And we're looking
Not
at
what we
each
were
other
going for.
like, what? That's our client? Oh, sure. They spend money.
Yeah, whatever.
Sure,
Take
whatever. I thought we were going to gather the modest crowd. Apparently not. So now we know, after opening doors, we looked at each other, me and my sister, we're like, Oh, mind you, did I tell you I was still working my full-time job at the law firm? It's not like
Oh, yes. I actually remember you saying that at your
it's not like I
presentation
could quit my job.
because you need the
You can't
income.
pay yourself when you're
Yeah.
starting a business.
Yeah.
Hello. It's not like we have investors. It's not like we could pay ourselves. That was
So
not
how did that work
reality.
then? Like what were your hours with the law firm and then with Bohme?
Well, I worked every day till about 4 in the afternoon and then did the night shift. And my sister worked her job in the nighttime and then did the morning shift.
Oh,
But then we would
so
work
much
all day.
respect.
Oh, no. Yeah, let me tell you. So now we open doors and people are like, are you guys like European? I don't get it. People would just walk right by. They were afraid to come in. You guys look expensive. The Bohme, oh, it looks European. Oh. Okay, let me paint you a picture of 2007. Do you know where you meet your girlfriends for lunch? The Olive Garden. If it wasn't the Olive Garden, it was
Which is
bust.
basically the Mervyn's of food.
Marvin's the food today. But back then, if there wasn't a label or something that's been a household item, people would not try. That's why it's amazing to do business today in 2022, 2023, because people are accepting of new concepts,
Yeah.
new ideas. People accepted.
Yeah.
Back then, people did not accept. And so being a newcomer inside a mall, and you're not a chain, nobody knows who you are, and you look foreign. And then we look to ourselves, oh, duh, we're Brazilian.
Yeah.
We need to go back to the drawing board and see what people want to buy. So now 3 months go by. I'm even more in debt because the store didn't profit.
And did they say it was time to shut the doors there? Because it had been
Yeah, it was a
lease?
3-month thing. It was time to shut the doors. And so we're thinking, oh, let's
So
open
you didn't
another.
make a dime. You're now more in
No.
debt. Okay.
Even more debt. And my sister had a bunch of kids at the time, and her husband, he was at $7.50 an hour working at his job too. Back then it wasn't like today where you have people make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now I thought, you know what? I'm done. This was miserable. Nobody understood us. Nobody understood me. I think let's just get rid of the inventory and just close doors. Of course, it was time to close, but I didn't want to reopen anywhere else. I was done. When I mean done, I mean done. I was exhausted to a point of just working all day. And I thought, I have 2 ways to go. I can A, stop and just go back to my normal life, or B, keep going. So the first thing I did was I turned to God.
Good for you.
I did. And he's always guided me. So
He knows better than we do.
always, he could see past, present, and future, right?
Yeah.
And where we can't. But I remember on my knees, I prayed and I asked, is this the path that I needed to go? Because I am done and I have nothing left in me. I mean, nothing. And I remember like it was yesterday, he said, get up, go back to work, because there will be angels on the other side of the veil that are going to help make this a success. And that was a clear answer. I heard a voice and I thought, okay, I'll get up, I'll do it. If this is what you want me to do, I'll do it.
Good for you.
And sometimes, like, we've all been in this situation where you're in a black, dark tunnel
Oh, yeah.
and there's no light. There's no light at the end of the tunnel or to guide you.
You don't see anything.
You don't see anything. You're in the pitch black. And at those times, it's that faith. It's the faith that lights your torch inside,
Yeah. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you just
100%.
trust. So now I go back to work. And I thought, let's change the name. Nobody can say Bohme. People are confused. Growing up at school, hey, Fernanda, can you please come to the front office? They wouldn't even say the last name, let
What
alone
did they
in
think
a
it was?
retail shop, right? Boheme, people don't know. It's actually a German last name because
Yeah.
my dad's side is German.
Wow.
So that's where the Böhme, if you're German, you would say it like that. So anyways, so I thought, let's just change up the name. It's not worth keeping. Well, I took the shopping bag to another center that was interested in opening up with us. And somebody said, oh my gosh, where'd you get that bag? I'm like, oh, it's my bag. I just brought it. I was just carrying it. Where did that store go? I recognized that logo and the name. And I thought, I took that as a
That was
sign.
after only the 3-month
That was after the
Wow.
3 month, like we were closed and somebody recognized the logo and the name and they were asking where we went. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is
That
a
had to have been
sign.
so
We're
validating after all that.
we're keeping the name. And I'm so glad we did
So glad you did.
because it ended up being a timeless name for us. And
Yeah,
there's
no
so
one
many
else has that.
boutiques popping up.
Yeah.
So now we're at the University Mall in the dead end, in the worst end of the mall. And the mall said, okay, you guys can do your own build out. We couldn't hire a contractor. We had to be our own contractors. So now we are, we didn't
This
have
is
YouTube.
so inspiring
We
to
didn't
me.
have Google. So now
yeah.
we're reading a book, how to put the blade inside a table saw.
Oh my gosh.
I rented all my own tools or bought our own tools.
And this is when you're 21.
I was 23.
23,
I was
okay.
23.
Still.
And thank goodness, Home Depot, you can get a credit card at Home Depot. So now we're getting all of our tools there. And some of these, we had an unfinished ceiling. These ceilings were, 20-something feet tall. How am I going to paint that and spray it? So then I'm like, I'm going to go to Home Depot and I'm going to rent a scaffold. So I'd get there, I am here to rent a scaffold. And they would look at me, I was 23, but I looked like I was 16 back then. So they look at me and they look behind me and I go, what you looking at? So who's going to pick up that scaffold for you? I said, I am in my 2-door Honda Accord.
Oh my goodness.
Sure enough, it did fit with the back, the trunk open. I slammed it in there. I got my overalls to spray the ceiling black.
This just shows whatever you want to do, you can do it. Figure out a way.
Yeah.
Figure out a way. That
And
is
so,
so amazing.
Can I paint a picture for 2007? Everybody wanted to wear, it was bling days. It was
Oh, yes.
Ed Hardy. Woo, Ed Hardy days.
What's the one with the big eagle on the back of the guy's shirt? What
Yes.
was that
So we're
kind
like,
of-
you know what?
Oh, affliction.
Affliction. So I'm like, nobody understood us. Oh, they're going to understand us now. So we had to paint the cement so it looked like it was stained because we couldn't
Yeah.
afford, to finish the floors. We couldn't afford brick. Brick was cool back then. So then we had to do wallpaper. Do you know how much it is to put wallpaper in?
It's expensive.
The labor is more expensive than the
I
wallpaper
remember.
itself.
Yeah, I'm like, wow,
So I
remember that.
had to learn 101 how to put up your own wallpaper. Today I'm pretty darn good.
So this is in between your law office job?
Oh, I still had my full-time job. I couldn't quit. We couldn't pay ourselves.
So at nighttime, you're just going in
Working
there.
all night. So working all day, working all night, and then
Oh.
doing construction at nighttime too. So now we're putting up our own wallpaper. I have a photo of that too, by the way. And
Okay, I wanna
now
see
it's like
that.
we couldn't afford to put tables up. So I had this crate company build crates. I'm like, can we just have some crates? So they did these crates and I used that as the table to make it look industrial, but they didn't know we didn't have the money to do it. So then, we introduced the whole Ed Hardy look, which was the wings, the dagger, the heart,
Yeah.
all of that. It's like we went completely different than when
You
where
leaned
we
into
started.
that one.
And I had to change the logo so it looked welcoming, so it didn't look too European,
Yeah.
right? So I had to do like a
I
gothic
remember the old
font.
logo. Wasn't? Yeah, it was very
It was a
gothic. Yeah,
font.
yeah.
We had to, or else people wouldn't walk
Blingy.
in the door.
Totally.
Isn't that
yeah.
terrible?
That's what was
So
in.
anyway,
yeah.
we're like, okay, fine, we're gonna do what people like. So first day, Labor Day, 2008. This is 2008. We're ready to open doors, and I look at my sister. I'm like, can you go to the bank and pick up some change because we need money for the till? She looks at me. There is no money to put in the till. It's like, oh crap, how are we gonna give people change? I'm like, I don't know. So we put the shirt over and over because we didn't have enough inventory to even fill the shop. Lo and behold, we opened doors. It's a big deal for somebody to walk in your business.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. People walked in. They weren't afraid.
You're probably thinking, I better close every single person that walks in here.
Like they were not afraid. And people walked in and they had exact change to pay or they paid with a credit card. Miracle.
That is a miracle from God right there that everyone had exact change.
It
We're like, we
is.
have no money.
It is. And then ever since, it was that store. We were becoming already #1 sales per square foot. We opened a second store. We opened a third store.
You became #1 sales per square foot.
#1. And we listened to the customer. We knew what they wanted because we worked in the store. Like we were there, like we knew. And so from then on, we opened several locations because we knew we didn't want to be a hole in the wall. Like
Right.
we knew. And so from one location, we got recruited to Gateway, back in Gateway days. And then that was a crazy story too. Opening that store, doing construction in that store, doing it ourselves, and then open a third, open a fourth. We're back at Fashion Place now. And then we actually grew the business. By the time I was 29, I had 25 stores.
Wow.
But back then I didn't think I was young. Like I did it. It was just, I worked every day. I didn't know any better. But I ended up being a workhorse. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
burnt
did.
myself out and I
Yeah.
forgot how to be a human. I forgot how to make friends because I was just, you're working all day, all night. And then now, the .coms blow up. So now that's a whole other business running your
Yeah.
.com. And,
To
fast
reinvent
forward,
yourself.
right. And fashion is a very fickle business to where
Oh, it's changing all the time.
it's changing all the time. I call it a moving target.
Oh, so
One
hard.
day the girl wants this, the next day she wants that. You know what happened in 2014? So now it's 2014, 2015. Now the mom doesn't want to look like the daughter, and the daughter sure as heck does not want to look like the mom.
So you were having to come up with stuff for both age groups that they both like. Oh,
And now the daughter's wearing skinny jean. The mom can't move on from boot cut. At one point, I couldn't sell a skinny jean to save my life.
wow.
Because people thought that the boot cut was the only flattering thing on the planet. They couldn't switch over to the skinny. So training the customer to change and change with the styles, change with the times is a very difficult thing.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those people. It's hard.
Like it was hard. And now it's like people don't want to get out of the skinny jean. Now we're into the mom jean phase. But the mom is like, I've already gone through the mom jean phase. Why do I ever want to revisit it? Like, right? So you have retailers that are scrambling to where it's like, wait, do we please the 30, 40-year-old or are we going to please the 21-year-old? Because the 21-year-old is the cool girl.
Yeah.
But she's not sharing the
They
closet,
shop more, but the mom has more money.
has the
probably.
money.
Yeah.
So now what? So finding that balance,
Oh, wow.
it's a science. Okay, so I mean, I've already had my background in sewing. Oh, did I tell you I sold my own prom dress growing up because
Yeah, because you saw it in what
I
magazine?
saw it in the Vogue magazine.
Vogue
We
magazine,
didn't have
yeah. It was
Pinterest back then.
Balenciaga, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, I want that dress for prom. Like,
Yeah.
the stuff out there was like, yuck, I'm not gonna wear a ball gown.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so I'm like, I can sew. And so, boot cut days, you don't want your $300, $200 jean to drag.
Yeah.
So, people would just have them altered. And so the girls were going, Mom, let's go to Nordstrom because they'll alter my jeans for
Like you
free.
could hear them saying that
I
when they
can
walk
hear
in the
them
store.
in the fitting room.
And they probably have no idea that you're not just a worker, you're an owner. You are the owner of the
Like
store.
they don't know. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are leaving. That's my lunch, right?
That's so true.
So anyways, I'm like, I can sew. So then I didn't have another employee. It's not like I could go to the back and sew. So I had a sewing machine on the counter next to the cash register. I'm like, you want your jeans altered? I'll even keep the original hem, press it, and have it done for you. In fact, if you go to the food court and grab yourself a drink, it'll be done in 15 minutes because a lot of people were from out of town. They couldn't just come back the next day. So
Yeah,
I
way
would
to
just
fight for that
measure them
sale.
and I would just do the original hem, do whatever. And sometimes the customer would come back, hey, these are really expensive jeans, but I've lost some weight. I'm like, oh, no problem. I'll just take it in on the side here if you lost some weight or whatever. So I did over 1,000 pairs of jeans that I've altered. And back then we sold men's jeans as well. So I knew, like, every guy I see, I'd be like, you're this waist and you're this inseam. Like, I just knew. And it's funny. One quick funny story. I did one guy that the leg, he tried it on, one leg was shorter than the other. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I've never messed up a jean. Like, I'll give you another pair of jeans. I'm so sorry. And he's like, actually, one of my legs is shorter than the other. And I didn't tell you. I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
That's how good you were. You know what? You just reminded me of when we were in Hawaii together. When was that? Like a few months ago.
Yeah.
You said something, and I remember it. It really like stuck with me. Someone asked you like, "Have you ever had employees that try to like, take your ideas and go leave?" And you were like, I always say, "Good luck. Like, go
This is
start
funny.
it."
Okay, Christina, you brought something up. I wasn't going to bring this up, but since you did. So I've had a lot of people that have tried, that I've mentored, that I've tried to leave, take my vendor information, take everything. I get it. And back in the day, it was like, make them sign an NDA, make them do this, take them to the attorneys. Like, we were so passionate about that. But today, it's like, yeah, go try it. I will take you apartment shopping and your investor.
Like, good luck. See how easy that is.
Like,
But this just shows that grit. In fact, I'm thinking of this word because Julie Boyer, I did a podcast with, and she said something that just gave me chills. I was like, how are you getting through this? Because she has 8 young kids and is going through a divorce. So she's a single mom with 8 young kids, and she's amazing. And she's like, grit. Like, you just work hard and get through it. And when it's hard, you keep going. You just keep going. But you're that same way. It's so inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And now fast forward to 2020, and now we're doing great. You know, business is doing good, and all of a sudden we have to shut down our stores for a couple of months.
Oh,
Mind you, we already have pre-orders for the next couple of months coming from all over the world that I have to take because I don't want to have the vendor have to eat it, right?
yeah.
Because they paid for those goods. They
Then
have
you
to
ruin
pay
the
for their
relationship with
employees.
them.
Exactly.
Plus, ethically, it's the right thing to do.
I was like under my desk. I had to furlough over 300 employees. And I was calling every manufacturer like, please don't cut anything else. Please cancel. Don't cut anything else. Don't send it. Like I was calling India, China, Pakistan, whoever. And a lot of people don't know we designed a lot of our clothing.
Yeah.
And so then from there, I didn't know what else to do. We kept a small skeleton crew fulfilling orders because people were still shopping online. All of a sudden I called down in my warehouse. I said, hey, those jeans we just uploaded, it says 1 quantity. Can you guys upload the units? Because the inventory says 1. Fernanda, we uploaded it. Then where is it? It's gone. We sold it. So I marched down the stairs. I'm like, no, you didn't. Yes, we did. They're all gone. I know, but that was 800 units of one item. I'm like, how is it gone? It's gone.
God is in the details.
A miracle. Can I say a
Miracle.
miracle? It was gone. In fact, I called every country back. I said, just kidding. Double it. Double the order, triple the order, double. In fact, people that were not allowed to work in LA because all the businesses shut down, they were sneaking into their warehouses to ship us product.
Wow.
It was insane. So it was just like an empty warehouse, and we're just like trying to get the orders out and it actually ate all the web inventory plus all the store's inventory. It was insane. Our web business doubled overnight, tripled overnight, like out of nowhere. And to me, that's no coincidence. That was
That's
a
not a
blessing,
coincidence.
a blessing from above.
Totally.
And I recognize that, and I'm grateful for that.
When I went and watched you at that presentation, it was fascinating because you talked a lot about your intuition. And I call it intuition and or the Holy Spirit and things like that. I think we all have it. And the more you try to be a good person, try to be kind, I feel like the more you're able to recognize that, the more you're able to use that. And you also talked about something that you call the metaphysical. I'm interested to hear. Can you explain again what you said there? That was interesting.
I mean, I like to say that I live in the metaphysical realm. And it's like, what does that mean? Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people live in this realm. And what it is, it's you're living in a spiritual state, which the good thing, the benefit about living in the metaphysical world, because it is not bound by gravity. It is not bound by earthly universal laws. It is limitless.
Yeah.
And it comes from above, right?
Totally.
And so when you're living that way and you recognize the power of God in your life and where he needs you to be, everything, it's like clarity all of a sudden appears. And if you can access that part of your soul is there because you're divine. We're all divine children of God, right? So we have that power that either we're not aware of it or we're using it, but we don't even know we're using, right? So if you access that part of your soul, you can access past, present, future. You access it, and it's like you're seeing a big picture of your life, and you understand. And you understand all the hurdles, all the trials, and your purpose. You understand it. And all the things that you went through, whether, good or bad, you understand that there's a much bigger purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. You know what's so interesting? You made me think, do you remember my friend Kelly? Shout out to Kelly McHenry. She was at my birthday party.
Yes.
She's awesome. The other day we were talking and it was cool. I talked to my kids about it later on in the day too, but she was saying when I was really, really trying to do things right in my life, like really making this like a full on focus every minute of every day, she's like, I couldn't believe my prayers being answered. Just like how direct it was. I would ask for this would happen. It was the most, and not that it always happens that way, because sometimes it's, like you said, for a better purpose and we don't understand it, or something that seems bad, but it's actually good. But she said she was to the point where when her sisters would be on the phone with her and they needed help with something, she's like, I'll pray for it, because right now I don't know what's happening, but I'm trying so hard to be good and to do right and to do good things in the world, and all of my prayers are being answered. So that was kind of interesting. It's along the same lines of what you're saying.
And along with that, I always say, find your frequency. Find your frequency. And what that is knowing what your purpose is on this earth. Like, everybody has a purpose, right? And it's really easy to be distracted.
It's so cool. It's like when you think about how inspired your dad was to come to the United States, bringing 3 small children, no one knows any English, working so hard and working through that. That's such inspiration. But he tapped into knowing what, God wanted for him, and
as hard as it was.
Yeah, as hard as it was, and fighting through that.
The gratitude that I have to be in this country, to even be a citizen, and to be able to share my talent. Wow, I'm beyond grateful. I'm grateful every day, and to be able to raise my children here.
Yeah,
I'm very grateful for the sacrifices that my parents made. That you know.
We talked about this a little bit earlier when I said, what if people want to go copy your ideas and stuff? But what advice would you give to someone who's wanting to start in your industry?
So this is the advice that I would give anybody that wants to be in the fashion industry or any industry surrounding it. Really get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Get any position with a company. It doesn't matter what it is. Do you know how many?
Learn it, right?
Do you know how many people that have turned down an internship in my company? Do you know why? Because, for example, I want to be a social media director. Okay, the opening I have is warehouse. Oh, I'm sorry, Fernanda. I don't fill orders. I don't take out the trash. I'm sorry, I don't do that. And they walk away. They walk away. But every CEO knows, and every founder knows, that all the secrets in the retail business is in the garbage, people. Yeah. It's in the trash. Like today, if I'm starting at another company, I'd be like, can I take out your trash? Can I do your warehousing?
Wash
do you know
the
why?
dishes in the back.
Do you know why? I'm looking at how is the business being run. I am looking at where are the items coming from? What part of the country? What are their suppliers? You're looking at the invoices. Those are invoices on the boxes. You're doing, like for example, you're filling orders, like an entry-level position that people turn away all the time. You're looking at what's selling. You're looking at what's being returned. You are looking at the heart of the business, right? You're looking down in the engine of the car. You want to know how the car runs?
Every detail.
Take apart the engine.
Yeah.
And for example, like my head of marketing today and my head of web today, the head honcho, you know what she did? She was an exchange student from Slovakia, taking out the trash and filling orders. The very entry-level position. But guess what? I'm going to quote the song. If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear, because you'll rise to the top.
Yeah.
We recognize talent, right?
Yeah.
And today, she's ahead of everybody. Wow. Right? So once you learn the business and you are amazing and you know you are, you'll rise to the top.
And she obviously worked hard and showed that she was dedicated and
100%.
was willing to do everything.
Learn humility.
Yeah.
Learn humility. The people that have humility thrive in the workplace. Those people thrive and they go much further than
You're like, I had to live in humility for a long time.
Right. It's like play well in the sandbox. How well do you play nice in the sandbox?
Yeah.
It's just as important as how well you're a leader, right? And so that's my advice. Get your hands dirty.
Yes, I love that advice. I love that. That's so all-encompassing. Work hard, show you're dedicated, be humble, learn every aspect of it, do everything. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Fernanda. You're so amazing, and your story is so inspiring. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, man, I want to go start a business. Maybe not when I don't have 6 little kids at home, but you're so awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I always say it doesn't matter what you are. If you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is, if you don't own a big business, who cares? If this is the purpose that you're going to go raise those children that are going to change the world tomorrow, then that's your purpose. It's a God-given purpose.
Totally.
Right? Don't compare.
Oh, I
yay.
totally agree.
That's
And in
for
fact,
anyone.
there's a quote from Marjorie Pay Hinckley, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's something along the lines of, whatever your job in the world is today, do your very best at it. If you're a stay-at-home mom, that's what I am. I'm going to do my very best at it today. I'm going to love my kids. I'm not going to get annoyed when they're fighting for the 15th time that day.
I just bought some earplugs for the car. Worked at Gem today.
That's awesome. She gets it. Our kids are actually playing right now. Anyway, thank you so much, Fernanda. You're so awesome.